Hello, everyone. This is Cami.
And this is Steph. This is the Wardalls Podcast.
On today's episode, we shift gears a little bit and we're going to talk about video games. And one in particular is PUBG. And with us today is Callie, and she's a big time PUBG player. And I met her there, and she is amazing. So we're gonna have her answer some questions and just get to know her.
Hi.
Callie, welcome to the Wardalls Podcast.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
So, give us some of your origin story, like how you got into gaming, what kind of games you started with, just a little bit of your background.
Okay, so I was busy raising my kids for a long time, so I actually started gaming just a few years back. So, because I was just busy being a mom. I started with a game called Scum. It's a survival game. It's kind of like Rust and Daisy mixed. And I started playing there, and within about 3 months of playing, I met some really ornery Scottish guy, and he taught me all the ropes. I loved him. His name was Hanzo. And we played on a server where his friend admined, and about 3 months into me learning the game, it's a very intense survival game. It's very involved. There's so many things to the game itself. It takes a very long time to get used to it.
It is. I tried it out. It's way deep.
Yes, it's very, very deep. And about 3 months in, I was asked to be an admin, and I'm like, what's an admin? They're like, we think you'd be great for this. And I'm like, really? And so I became that as I was learning the game. So I did it simultaneously, and I really loved it. And I loved the community, at least the community that I was a part of. I was mostly tied into European servers, so based out of Germany or out of the UK, places like that. There wasn't very much of an American following, and I loved it. I fell in love with the community, and then I started to get a reputation of being a very fair admin, and I ended up just really loving the community. Served it for almost 3 years, but the toxicity and just the cruelty amongst the player base, I
The
had to
scum.
leave. It's, yeah, literal scum. Like people would spend 16 hours a day trying to ruin a team's life.
That's rough. That's rough.
And I had to administrate that. I had to, people be like, Calco, it's not fair, and you need to fix this for me. And I'd be like, it's a scum. I can't really. So I started there. I played a few games here and there. I tried Valheim. I tried a few things, but I got really involved in the scum world. Ended up being on the alpha tester team. So I
Oh,
would report
that's
all the
cool.
bugs. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of cool. Like when they would have something released, we would test it first.
Hmm.
I wasn't very active, to be fair, because I was mostly active in my admin job. So I would report bugs to the admin team. So I was well versed in why things worked the way that they worked. But of course, being a woman, nobody believes you.
Right. That's so. Mm.
Yeah.
Which
Not very
brings
many, yes, not
which
very
brings
many
you to
women
us.
admins. Yes, not very many women admins.
No.
And a small amount of women admins, they were pretty decent. There were a few that were pretty toxic, but for the most part, we tried to stick together because we were a very small amount of women.
Hmm.
But yeah, just the community grew, the game started to gain traction. It's still in early access. It's just
Is
about
it
to be
really?
released. Yes,
Okay.
probably 5 years it's been in early
Yeah.
access.
Well, that sounds like 7 Days to Die. They just went gold this year, I think, or late last year.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. And it's finally gotten to. I haven't. I've played a little bit of 7 Days. 7 Days is one of my favorite games, um, and it's like Scum. It's a survival game, um, crafting and zombies. It's a zombie apocalypse survival game,
Okay.
and it's a lot of fun. And I've dipped my toe back into it a couple of times just to see the new stuff, but I have not. Uh, I ran a server for a couple of years, like you with the scum, and had a little community, and we had a good time. I've done that a couple. I played on one for a couple of years, and then I ran one for a little while. But yeah, I'm a big fan of survival games, Space Engineers, more of a sandbox than survival, but they're getting there.
Hmm.
Because I love building things. 7 days you have to build a base. You know, to protect yourself from the zombies. You have to collect stuff.
Okay.
Food, water, weapons. And it's in car parts. You can build trucks, and you know, uh, those are the things I like. If you can drive, and Scum had a motorcycle, I think.
Yes.
So that's why I tried it out. I was like, it ticks all my boxes, but it was really complicated and really harsh.
Yes.
So, um,
It's
so
definitely
that
a group thing. It's a group
it
thing. You
is,
you have to have a team.
yeah. And I was checking it out to see if it would be something my group would enjoy.
Hmm.
So, um, but so you're a fan of survival games too?
Yes, I
Okay.
really love the aspect. When I first started playing and I had my little honorary Scottish guy, he had all of these guys, these Brits, and they would teach me the metabolism function.
Mm-hmm.
So one guy would say, "You're low on vitamin C." And he would take me to the forest and we would forage mushrooms. And he'd go, "Look at your stats on your screen. See how it's getting better? You were in the red and now you're starting to get into the orange." I
That's
was so
cool.
fascinated at the
Yeah.
metabolism, and you would eat something and you would get sick, or it was fascinating. So I had one guy that loved PvP.
Mm-hmm.
He loved to fight. He would just throw me a gun. "Callie, let's go." And I'm like, "But I don't even know, like, what do we I was so new and they just threw me in. I'm very thankful for that actually. And then I had one guy that taught me guns. I had one guy that taught me tactics. I bought like a whole bunch of extras. It was really fun, but every different person taught me a different skill, and so I picked it up because you have your shtick. You have one guy that loves
Mm-hmm.
to build, so he would teach me how to build. I wasn't very good. One guy that loved to lockpick. One guy that loved to raid, and so I would get to know people in the community, and I would learn by watching them and playing with them how to do these certain skills. And some of them, like lockpicking, was extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were very hard to find good lockpickers. And
Yeah.
then they ended up bringing dial locks into the play. And then that was basically just, I mean, you're just cracking a dial lock. You don't have to have skill, you just have to have time.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah, it was,
that's how teams should work.
yes,
Guilds and such.
yes.
Everybody should bring something to the party.
And I loved it. I loved it the whole time. But there was always this underlying misogyny that really bothered me because some of them didn't want me to fight. They wanted to protect me. One guy goes, "Oh, there's people here. Calico, hide in a bush." I'm like, "No, I want to fight."
You gave me a gun.
Yes. Or
You
we'd go
know.
to a bunker and there were zombies in the game as well. And you'd have to protect yourself from the zombies and you'd
Oh,
want to
that's
be
right. There
quiet.
were. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you'd use melee. You'd use like a katana or a sword or anything because you didn't want to shoot because you didn't want to bring attention because if
Right.
somebody heard you, they could stalk you and kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So the majority of people just, I had a handful of people that really encouraged me to fight, but I didn't really have a lot of experience fighting because I was busy building and looting and growing a community and adminning at the same time. So it was really difficult for me to juggle both.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Plus being a mother, plus I work from home.
Right. Right.
So, but it was about a 3 year relationship with Scum and the devs. Being an alpha tester, reporting all the bugs. Then I became an admin, and then I was offered a server to own, and that was the best
Oh.
server ever. There was a streamer, and he didn't want it anymore. He was expecting, him and his wife were expecting, and he was like, "I think I need to step away." So his brother and me took it over, and then I ended up taking it over, and yeah, I had that for a while, but it's this the tale as old as time. There are no good admins. It's really, really, really hard to find good admins, especially for
Mhm.
that game. And so I ended up running things alone, and I got overwhelmed.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah, so I gave a lot of time to that. 90 out of 90 players constantly in peak times, and I was the only one answering tickets, teleporting people out of stuck places, catching cheaters, looking at raids, over like going over footage. It was a full-time job, and it was for free. I never got paid.
Right.
And it got to the point where people started to get very demanding. They didn't believe me because I was a woman. And I'd have to say, do you know how long I've been doing this and playing this game? And I'm an alpha tester and I know all these things. So there was a lot of experience. And it was not in every situation, but in many situations, because I was a female, they automatically assumed I didn't know anything about the game. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that happens far too often.
That's so
yes,
frustrating.
Yeah, it is. But now you do a lot of PUBG,
yes,
which is where we met,
yes.
and that's not a survival game. So,
But I get
for
a kill.
that's true. So you do get
Yes.
good at combat there. So anybody who doesn't know PUBG, it's Player Unknown's Battleground, and it is just a looter shooter arena style game like Overwatch or what's the other one? Fortnite.
Hmm.
Um, Only less busy. There with
Yes.
the other two. There's a lot going on the screen, and I can't keep up. But PUBG, for me at least, I can drop in, I can play a game, and I'm done if I want to be in 25 minutes. Sometimes sooner because I'm not that good. But so anyway, um, here you are, and you're pretty good at it. You got your little group because, at least in my experience, you find a small community and you cultivate it and you stick with it
Hmm.
because, as you and I both know, it's very there is toxicity there too, and it's pretty bad.
Oh
So,
boy.
but tell
Yes.
us about your experience there.
Well, what drew me to that is actually after I left the scum community, one of my friends said, I think you'd really like PUBG because I know you want to kill. And so I was like, okay, let's try it out. And I fell in love with it. Immediately, I fell in love with it because it's a one and done. I don't have to build a base.
Hmm.
I don't have to survive. I don't have to loot for weapons and make sure I have the right magazine for the right weapon. I just go grab stuff and kill people. It's great.
And worry about your vitamin D.
And yeah, I don't have to forage for mushrooms, and now, it could be psilocybin, so be careful. I don't have to do that.
Did they
So,
really do that? Did they put
oh,
that?
yes, you could have trips. You'd
Oh my
literally,
gosh.
yeah, and you'd hallucinate, and everybody would like be wearing masks. It was crazy.
I spent so much time in Scum just trying to find food that I never got into the metabolism thing.
Yes. Again, I'm very fortunate that I had OGs from the game that's like were there since it started. They'd been admins and owners, and so I was very fortunate that they kind of showed me the ropes. I came into PUBG not thinking I'd like it because I was like, PUBG, ew, what,
Hmm.
what?
Right. Yeah,
But
I had that too. I had a couple of friends that played, and they
hmm
convinced me to go. Um, and then they almost immediately left. But by then, I was like, "This is kind of cool."
well, I agree with you with the quiet part because Fortnite, there's just too much talking. I like the silence of PUBG. You don't hear anything other than just sounds. It's not like all the added commentary that you hear on all these different fighting games. It
Hmm.
just fills my on the spectrum mind to it's too much stimuli. I can't handle it.
Well, I get watching people's streams.
Hmm.
There's just a lot of flashing and information popping up on the screen with all
Yeah.
the building, and it's it's just too much. I
Hmm.
mean, I can't even watch TikTok. There's just so much coming on the screen.
Yes, I like it. It's just quiet and
Yeah.
you loot and I took the knowledge of me being an admin for so long, watching people fight, watching people raid, and so I'm tactical. And so when I started playing the game, I'm like, oh my gosh, I kind of know how to beat this stuff because I've been watching Russian squads fight other Russian squads for 2 years now, and then the Spaniards come in, and then they're mad at the Italians, and then as I've watched all these countries fight each, it's been so fun, and I took that knowledge, and I was like, and so I started to apply a lot of what I've known and saw how people fought because I was in a drone and I could see the entire map, and I
Hmm.
could watch fights and I could see where mistakes were made. So I took my knowledge and I started playing the game, and I'm like, I kind of know a little bit about. I'm not good, but I kind of know like how to navigate this game. And then I met a few people,
Hmm.
and they were team players, and they taught me a whole bunch of stuff. I was very thankful. Same thing, they took me under their wing and taught me some things. And then I found a good group of team players, and here I am today. It's like 8 months, I think I've been playing PUBG. Only 8 months.
Only 8 months.
Hmm.
Wow, that's I feel terrible now.
Stop.
I,
You're a good player.
I have
You have always been a good player.
I'm an okay player. I don't have a what was it the other day you got 22 kills?
Oh yes.
Dang.
Yeah, but that's because Joker spoiled me. I had a bad day, and so I was like, I just want to kill people. I was like, do you want to do drive-bys? And so he just geared me up, and we literally drove around looking for people on the map and killed whatever we could find.
I I can't hit anybody from a car. That's why I usually volunteer to drive.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
So because I'm okay at driving. I'm pretty good at driving.
Yeah.
So um, there are times. I mean, what drew me to that game is I can drive that dune buggy, and
Oh
there
yes.
have been, and like you said, but sometimes it's just good on a bad day to load up the game, find a buggy, and just drive around. Just drive around the map. That's all I do.
Yep.
So,
And I
but
it's a love and a hate thing because I love meeting new people because I'll
hmm
meet people like you, and I will immediately just connect with people, and I'm like, yes, this is great. But on the other hand, you got to take the sour, toxic randos. They'll hear my voice, and the minute they hear my voice, they're like, oh. And I'm like, what? Let me
yeah,
just live. I just want to live and play. So
seriously,
you got your goods and your bads with the game, I guess. But yeah, very toxic players. You remember that when we went on that casual.
that was rough.
Yes.
That was really rough. So that's the
Okay,
peril of that open mic, though.
now you guys have to tell the story. Because I have no idea what you're talking about, so now I need to hear the story.
Okay. So we had 4 people on our team, and we decided to just do a casual match, which is like mostly bots. So we decided to push this one area, and we walk in, and there's a player hiding in the bathroom, and you can have
It was an apartment building. It's like a really, uh, there's a lot of apartments in
a
this
lot of
building.
floors.
Hmm.
And so you have an option to, just like kind of, you can either talk within your team if you hit push to talk, or you can talk in vicinity and you can hear everybody and they can hear you. So one person had that off and 3 of us had it on. So I found the player in a bathroom hiding in an apartment complex on like the 3rd floor and I killed him. And he started screaming at the top of his lungs at me. And it wasn't just an angry, like, oh,
Mm-mm.
he was, it triggered me. It took me a couple hours to calm down. He was screaming so loud that I honestly felt like he could have gotten violent. And so I'm trying to keep comedy. I'm just trying to be comedic. And he was talking to the other guy that was trying to defend me. And he was like, oh, you're so fat. You're so disgusting. You probably weigh 400 pounds. And I go and I try to do comedy. I'm like, no, 450 actually, thanks. And then he's like, you probably have a blank in your mouth. I'm like, yeah, it's a piece of pizza. I'm trying to like bring comedy to it, but also at the same time defend myself because I felt extremely, extremely attacked.
Right. It was
Wow.
so bad. I had to turn the group chat. I mean the go back to group chat. I couldn't listen to it. It was
Yes.
it was pretty triggering.
And it was all
So
just because we killed him. That was
yeah.
it.
I understand. Trash talk happens,
Yes.
but
Mhm.
there's a line. Like we
Oh
trash
yeah.
talk in the tabletop world all the time,
Hmm.
but it was just. there is a line where it becomes abuse.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I think that the wall of the internet where nobody knows who you are emboldens people way too
Yes.
much, way more than
Yeah.
it
Yes.
should.
Mm-hmm.
So there ought to be, like, I don't know, maybe Jay and Silent Bob had the right idea. Go around to people's houses and punch them in the face for the things they said on the internet.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's being in this gaming community. I found it in Scum. I'm not gonna lie though, there are really, really good people that I still am friends with to this day in Scum. My ride or die people, but very few and far between. But the vast majority are just extremely sexist. They have no grace for you. They'll make fun of you if you don't do something right. If you accidentally say throw the grenade wrong, everybody will laugh at you. But they'll do it and they'll be like, oh yeah, oops, I made a mistake. Anytime you do anything that's normal gameplay, like you accidentally friendly fire your friend in PUBG, you get laughed at and made fun of. It's like
Yeah,
they revel in finding a mistake that you make. They revel in finding, and I'm not talking about all men, of course, but just the toxic ones. They'll find a mistake you make and then they love to just rub your nose in it. And I
yeah,
don't grasp. I'm like, can't you just? And then they'll say, oh, you're a woman, so what's your age? I'm like, how is that relevant? Why? So you're basically you're already putting me in a box. You're trying to find a category that can't I just be your homie and just play the game? Can't we just win and get a chicken dinner? Can't we just work as a team? Why did you only ask me and you didn't ask anybody else?
right,
Because I typically
Mhm.
play with three other guys. You didn't ask anybody else, but you particularly asked me. I don't quite understand why that you have to have a definition or a category with me. Just play with me. And if
right,
you don't like my play style, then don't play with me.
right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So besides PUBG, what other hobbies or games are you currently enthralled with?
Well, I do play Killing Floor sometimes if I just want to kill zombies. They're coming out with Killing Floor 3, I believe. It's coming soon. That's just a shoot 'em up thing. But I just like to live a quiet life. I live on some acres, like 14 acres. I have like ducks, chickens, dogs, cats. I live a very quiet life. So when I'm not playing and killing people in game, I'm being nice to my kids and baking bread. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I'll have to put people on hold while I'm dropping because I'm getting my bread out of the oven.
That's
Just
that's
kind of that.
awesome.
that is wonderful. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so other than that, it's just living a quiet life, just doing my stuff.
And I know you're a Star Wars fan, so did you do anything fun for Star Wars Day?
I didn't. I my daughter was sick and I was sick, so we just kind of, yeah.
Mm.
But my best friend growing up, though, she was actually born on the 4th.
Oh.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, yes.
Is she a
So,
Star Wars fan?
yes.
Okay, I
Yep.
was gonna say that would be a wasted birthday
Right?
otherwise.
Wouldn't
I
that be so
know.
sad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah,
be.
she was great.
So, what kind of advice would you give for women who might be interested in PUBG or any other video game where they're clearly going to be outnumbered by the men folk?
Find yourself a group of good people and just stick with them. If you find somebody good, friend them on the game, maybe friend them in Discord, and just stick with those people because it's being out there by yourself and not having a support system sometimes can be pretty harsh. It can be really, really discouraging and disheartening if you hear the stuff that we hear. It can be really disheartening and it makes you just want to not play games at all. So
Yeah.
if you have a really supportive community, I would say find them. They're there.
We're here. We're dolls.
Yes. See, there you go.
Yes.
I met you. Yes, I
Yeah.
met you.
You we're built in. So if you need a community, come find us.
I appreciate it.
We'll
Thank
find
you.
people for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there any advice that you wish you would have been given prior to getting into all these video games?
Yes, I wish I would have been told what it's like. and I would have been given more tools to not be so defensive of myself. I don't have to prove myself to anybody.
No.
I never said I was a good player. I never, I mean, I just want to play. And so me walking in feeling like I have something to prove, I just I needed, if I could have had somebody tell me to just let that go and just enjoy the game, I think I would have been a lot happier coming in.
But you did find it eventually.
I found the community that yes, I found the community.
Yeah. What other projects or games are you mentioned Killing Floor, but are there anything else that you want to get into or learn about?
I've had people tell me that they really want me to get into Escape from Tarkov, but I don't know. I've heard it's similar to Daisy and Scum and Rust. I don't
Hmm.
know. I've been told to get into Daisy as well, but I'm still kind of on the fence about those because they seem like involved games.
Yeah,
So,
I think it was Escape from Tarkov that I tried. Um, I mean, it was years and years ago. I'm sure they've done a lot of advancements. But if I remember right, there is no base building, which
okay, gotcha.
is a big deal to me. But like I said, that was many, many years ago, and that may be not the case anymore.
Okay, gotcha. I do miss my role play game though. I do have to throw that in. We did do Star Wars role play. I had a little group of nerds that I absolutely loved, but the group just dismantled. The GM was a little bit going through some things, and so
Hmm.
we ended up stopping it. But it was my first ever time of RP, and I absolutely loved it. It was so fun. Everybody from all walks of life. So if I could do something now, even besides video games, I probably would do RP again.
You want a role playing group? We can hook you up.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of role players in the War Dolls.
Okay. Okay. I did Star Wars last time and it was so fun.
I'm not to take an opportunity to put myself out, but I'm gonna. I'm writing a role playing game, so
Are you serious?
yeah. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I our one of our dolls, Sam, is actually she wrote a lot of my backstory because
Really?
yeah, I'm not as good as a writer as I think I am. Actually, I know I'm not, but she is a prolific writer. She's a wonderful writer, and she took my ideas, my lumpy clay ideas, and formed them into beautiful statues. So actually saved one of the player species from extinction. I was going to cut it because I didn't like it. You know, it just seemed so boring, and she wrote it and turned it into these beautiful flying. They're flying humanoids, and they don't live very long. And I was like, people aren't going to want to play these. And she gave them so much color and character and
Aw,
spirit that they're definitely one of my favorites now.
I love
Oh.
So,
that.
and I was like, well, I can't have one with 2 pages of description and the other. So now you got to do this 16 more times. So she did. So she did, and she put in some amazing history, and I would love for you to check it out, and even if it's just to read it, you
Yeah, I
know,
would love that.
tell me
Yes.
tell me what you think. So, but yeah, I'll send you a link to our Discord if you want to check us out. You know,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
we
I
would
would
love
love
to
that.
have you since we need more video gamers. We need more cosplayers. Hello, if you're listening. Um, com, we're trying. I've got one cosplayer we're going to interview, but not for a while yet. So um, we definitely want to talk to all girls in all sorts of geeky hobbies
Yes.
because
Yeah.
that's what we do. We support all everybody.
Geeky hobbies are the best.
They are.
They are.
They really are. They are. Like you get your little drink and you do your little hobby and it's great. It's good therapy.
Hmm.
It is. All right, so we've got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
So, just first thing that comes to mind, PC or console?
PC.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Controller or keyboard and mouse?
Keyboard and mouse.
Gary or Slater?
Gary.
Ew. Ew, Gary.
Ew. Oh, Gary. Get out of here.
Winter or summer?
Winter.
Video games or RP?
Mm. Video games.
Miramar or Erangel?
Erangel. Yep. That was easy.
Callie, do you have any questions for us?
Yes. How long have you guys been doing this? And do you love it? And what is your podcast looking like in the future?
That's a great question.
That is a fantastic question.
What's your vision for the future?
So, how long we've been doing it? This is episode 13.
Yep. So since like we started it in January of this year. Cammie kind of came to me and she's like, I've always wanted to start a podcast. I've started, I've stopped. I've started, I've stopped. And I was like, what? Let's just start again and keep it going. So we just kind of ran with it. And Cammie likes to tell people that I forced her into it.
because I have ideas, I have motivation, I just lack propulsion. I get distracted easily. I've got so many projects that I want to do that I start and never have follow through. And
So
Stephanie
you're the visionary and she's the one that actually does the follow through.
Pretty much.
She kind of gets me going and I just kind of execute.
Okay.
But you get excited. You get excited about it. You're also amazing at the PR and the social media, which I am terrible at. Like anybody who dares to visit our website, that is all me. So I need to hire a web designer to fix this up. We've been doing it for 5 months now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going really great, and I'm having a great time. I hope Steph is.
I am, absolutely. Yes, I get super pumped and excited every time we get someone on the schedule because like I love doing this. I love meeting new people and hearing about new things. Like I know nothing about video games. I'm completely lost just listening to you guys talk about this. Like I know nothing about it, but it's super interesting to me. So I love hearing and learning about all these new things.
It's definitely a different kind of hobby, but at the same time, what you're talking about, the sharing of information, the sharing the joy of our different hobbies is a lot of what this is about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, PUBG is free, Steph.
My video game skills do not go past Mario Kart.
That's all right.
That's
about all I got.
I'll put you in a car. I'll let you drive.
Perfect.
You can drive Callie around and let her do drive-bys.
I'll be yelling West Side out the window.
Well, we got we'll be playing No Scrubs by TLC.
Yes.
There is actually it's very underused in my opinion. There is an EMT kit in PUBG.
Yep.
So you can run around and be the medic.
Yes. We could teach her to do the panzers. She could panzer everybody. You could rocket launch everybody.
Carry a Panzerfaust and an EMT kit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Well,
That's
you
so
guys have the
great.
voices for this, so I mean, you guys
well,
sound
oh
great
my gosh,
together.
thank you.
So,
I know Steph does. It's taken me a while to kind of get used to hearing myself.
It's
Yeah.
definitely different listening to my own voice and something I've had to get used to as well. So,
yeah, isn't that
um,
weird hearing your own voice?
it
It's
is.
totally weird. Yeah. So and then going back to edit has been the mountain for me.
And then as for like the future of the podcast, I mean, we kind of started doing weekly episodes because everybody was gearing up for Adepticon and they had stuff to promote for the convention, and now we've kind of scaled it back to an every other week kind of thing just to allow us more time in between having guests on and giving Cami more time to edit everything. So I think we'll probably keep it as an every other week kind of thing going forward. Um, and just trying to keep getting people to come on. I know we've got several that are in the works of getting scheduled. Beyond that, I mean, it's just business as usual, right, Cami?
There there's still a lot of girls out there.
Yeah, there's still so many
Yep.
people that we haven't talked to yet.
And I mean, this is our first like dedicated video game episode.
Hmm.
We still want to talk to, more people, more game. There's so many games, so many hobbies.
Hmm.
You know, we're trying to get cosplayers on here because I know that that's a big deal. And we want to talk to everybody. We want
Yeah.
everybody to come on, um, and promote themselves. Like for instance, Callie, tell us where we can find you.
I do have an Instagram. It's the legit Calico. And I just share all my clips. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're good kills, sometimes it's just us being a bunch of nerds. But
And
yeah,
it's always a good time. And sometimes I'm there.
yes, sometimes. Sometimes, sometimes. It's good to have a safe space though,
It is.
with a
Hmm.
podcast like this because you'll find somebody that's like, I didn't know that other people did, PUBG or this or people will start to listen to it and it'll gain traction and then
Hmm.
they'll start to maybe even contact you and I hope well for the future because you guys it's nice to have a place where you can be who you are and not be judged for who you are.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that is actually the motivation why I started this because I was listening to a few podcasts and um, gaming podcasts specifically,
Hmm.
and there weren't a lot of girls out there,
Yep.
even on them. So I was like, they're always bringing guys on and talking to the guys, but we do this too,
Right.
and
What are we,
sometimes
chopped liver?
right, right, and sometimes we do it better.
um,
I
yeah.
saw that MP5 kill you got
I
from
have my moments.
from four. I couldn't even see the guy in your clip.
Oh, when the guy said, "There's a friend," and I
Yeah,
said,
there's a
"Not
friend.
anymore."
Yeah, he was so far away, and you're just like blap blap and dropped him, and it was amazing. So, and then gave the perfect '80s line, '80s, action hero clip line.
Yep.
It was great.
Yeah, that was really
So,
fun.
um, so thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And for everybody out there that's new here, the War Dolls is a community of geeky girls that banded together to support and inspire one another and promote one another. And we can be found online at thewardolls.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Discord. Uh, all but Discord can be. We're at the War Dolls on all of those. The Discord link is on our Instagram, and as well as the other things too. So Instagram is kind of our hub. So come
Mm-hmm.
see us, come join us.
And if you're interested in checking out the community, like Cami said, join us over on Discord, where you can chat and hang out with us every Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We do have our live hobby hang in the voice chat. So we have therapy, we hobby, we talk about our day, we just kind of
We talk about Slater.
and Gary,
And Gary.
Gary. Oh. So it's a fun time to just kind of come hang out with your friends every week.
And as always, if you have any questions for our guests or topics that you want to hear about, or if you have an idea of who we should interview, you can always reach us on Instagram or email us at thewardalls@gmail.com.
May the force be with you.
And also with you.